guys, Sam Adams here, and welcome to the final video of my E3 2017 content. And if you missed anything else, there is an entire playlist on my channel consisting of right around 15 videos that break down all of the conferences, my thoughts on them, the big announcements, and pretty much anything else that I wanted to talk about that was E3 2017 related, so be sure to check that out if you missed it or you wanted to watch it again because you love me so much. So now that that's out of the way, let's get down to the business at hand. What game won E3 2017? Of course, you could argue that there is no winner. There are just a lot of different games out there that a ton of different people are going to play and enjoy, some of which I might enjoy, some of which you might not enjoy, but there is going to be someone out there that truly does enjoy every experience that was shown off, no matter how big or small, how AAA or how indie, people are going to enjoy it in one way or another. And before I really dive into what I think, mine is not going to be Super Mario Odyssey. It does look like a fantastic game. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic Mario game, and probably the best one we've seen in years, but it simply isn't my cup of tea. I'll probably end up playing it, but that just isn't the specific kind of game that really does tickle my fancy. So we're going to be breaking down what I specifically think, even though Super Mario Odyssey really did win a ton of E3 awards at this year's show. So the first game I think is really impressive is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Now, I know there is no gameplay. I'm fully aware of that. I was just as disappointed as the next guy, but what I really admire about this game is the fact that the developers have stuck with it, they have stuck with it passionately, and that the audience that was there for Beyond Good and Evil 1 is just as excited for Beyond Good and Evil 2. Of course, it is going to kind of switch things up a little bit. It is a prequel to the original. There are no original characters that we know of yet, but it looks like it is changing things in the right way. I have heard reports that developers say this is going to be like a Grand Theft Auto set in space, where you pretty much go all about the galaxy doing various missions and side quests and things along those lines, and you pretty much use that one part of the universe as your hub. Of course, that is yet to be seen because we have no specific gameplay of Beyond Good and Evil 2, but the sheer amount of hype that it brought to the show and the way that it was shown off towards the end of the Ubisoft press conference really did impress me, and even I am excited about Beyond Good and Evil 2 as somebody that played the HD remaster but never got his hands on the original back in the day. So with that being said, I can't even imagine how excited some people that really did play it whenever it first came out are feeling right now. The next big nomination, if you want to call it that, from me is going to be SpiderMan, which is going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 sometime in 2018. A ton of people have been talking about this game, including myself. I was extremely excited whenever I was breaking down the Sony press conference earlier in the week, and for good reason, because this is what I wanted from this game. It pretty much looks like a Batman Arkham game, except featuring Spider-Man. The combat looks very similar. The web swinging, still kind of up in the air about that, but it looks like it works fairly well, and overall, it looks like a stellar superhero game for what I consider to be my favorite superhero of all time, Marvel or DC. I also admire the fact that the developers are choosing to go with kind of less top-level enemies here. We have Fisk, which is fairly well known. He's a mobster within the universe. But then we also have Mr. Negative, and these are pretty much a little bit deeper into the lore of Spider-Man, so to speak. And it's nice to see that they aren't just going with a Sandman or a Venom or a Vulture necessarily. These are pretty much the top level people that I always consider, and it's nice to see them kind of delving in to the entire universe as a whole. And then the final game that I really think took the show by storm is Anthem. Now this is being developed by the guys over at BioWare. A couple of the writers worked on the first two Mass Effect games, so I'm expecting a lot on the narrative front of the game, but the gameplay really did surprise everyone. I wasn't expecting any kind of game that looked this good, but Anthem truly does look like what I wish Destiny was. Pretty much the idea behind it is that you are a freelancer that lives within this city that is protected by a giant wall, and with outside the city is where you get your main source of work, whether that be through killing various kinds of animals, finding people that have gone missing while exploring outside of the wall, finding traders. This kind of thing is what you are going to be getting in Anthem. Pretty much you have different kinds of missions you can choose to accept or decline at any point in time, and then you go and perform those missions, come back, and then you have a ton of action in between. What really blew me away in this demo is the fact that you can jump off the top of the wall and seamlessly transition to the jungle below and just start flying around and exploring the world that you have at your disposal. And I also like the fact that they really did highlight team communication, and they really did make it feel like somebody that loves the vibe of Destiny, where you have constant teamwork and constant communication with your squad, is going to really be right at home with an Anthem, and that makes me pretty excited, even as somebody who does not play Destiny Destiny currently and is excited for Destiny 2, it'll be interesting to see how these two match up over time. And of course I do mean over time. Destiny 2 is going to have plenty of time to thrive over the course of its life cycle before Anthem ever sees the light of day, because I am expecting at least a fall 2018, and I would say delayed until the spring of 2019 for the release of BioWare's Anthem. But it all comes down to one: which game really did take the show the best? And in my personal opinion, if you wanted to choose which one of these three that I think really did earn it, I am going to have to give this one to SpiderMan. SpiderMan is my game of the show for many reasons. Of course, like I said, I'm a huge fan of the entire franchise overall. SpiderMan has always been my favorite Marvel character and pretty much my favorite superhero since the original Tobey Maguire movie back in, I think it was either 2001 or 2002. And then of course I played the games whenever they were on the PlayStation 1. I still have one around here somewhere, but all of that's to prove that I am a huge fan of Spider-Man, and so my choice here may even be a little bit biased, but I am incredibly excited to play this one on the PlayStation 4. I didn't go with Beyond Good and Evil 2 because there is really nothing to prove that it is a good game. We just had a whole bunch of pre-rendered, pretty-looking graphics, so to speak, and there isn't any kind of gameplay to go off of to see if this is going to be a true representation of what the original Beyond Good and Evil was. I also didn't choose Anthem because I've been burned too many times by games that look pretty and then don't perform in the same way whenever you play them on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, or even your gaming PC. One that specifically comes to mind with a similar kind of aesthetic is a game called Dark Void. Dark Void is a game from probably around 5 or 6 years ago. It's been quite a while, maybe even more than that, but it came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 and the PC, and whenever it was at E3, I specifically remember watching G4 coverage back in the day, and it focused a lot on vertical/wall combat where you were pretty much grappling up. You could shoot with your pistol, you could jump off, shoot with your assault rifle, and then use your jetpack to get around, and there was also a pretty intuitive cover system if I remember correctly. The game looked beautiful, I loved the way the guns shot, I just could not get away from the excitement I had around this game, and then whenever it came out, it was pretty much a linear, boring, steaming pile of garbage, and I think the last time I saw it, I was right around $3 at GameStop, and this is back in right around 2010, so needless to say, it didn't hold up very well whenever it was released as compared to its E3 hype. Of course, the promise is still there for Anthem. You have BioWare, you have people that worked on Mass Effect 1 and 2. The gameplay that was shown off looks fantastic, and it wasn't just some kind of beautiful pre-rendered trailer, it was specifically gameplay. So I am pretty excited to see how Anthem does shape up, and I really hope that it isn't like Dark Void, but with that hesitation, I just couldn't choose it for my game of the show for E3 2017. And so we were left with Spider-Man. I'm a fan, I love the combat, I love the web slinging, I love the aesthetic, the vibe of New York City. It all is there for me, and that is why Spider-Man gets my game of the show for this year's E3. But like I said at the beginning of this video, that is just my opinion. If you had a different game of the show, let me know in the comment section down below what that was. And if you happen to be new to the channel, I have been covering E3 2017 stuff all week. And like I said, there is a playlist for that on my channel right there below all of the main stuff, and it will remain there for a while. So give that a click, check out all of my content. But as for right now, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this video and the rest of the E3 content that I have published over the course of the past week, and we will be back with our regular schedule of the drop on Monday, but we'll talk to you then. Peace.